Hello, in this resource video I'll show you how to use Python to sort and plot the information we're looking at in this dataset. For our example, we're going to make a plot that compares the number of all new Marvel characters to the number of new LGBTQ characters each year. I'll be using my preferred Python IDE, PyCharm, for our example. Let's make a new project called Example with a new virtual environment. Once it's done building the virtual environment, we can delete the example file that it comes with. Then we'll want to download the dataset as a CSV file and save that into our workspace. To start writing code, we need to create a new Python file. I'll be calling mine main.py. So let's start by importing the pandas library. We'll use the read_csv function from pandas to read the data from our CSV file. We pass it a variable containing the file's name, and read_csv outputs it into a data structure from pandas called a data frame. We're getting an error on line 1, which we can see from the red squiggle line since we haven't installed pandas into our virtual environment. So let's do that now. Then we need to set up a configuration for debugging our code. This configuration from the example file that we deleted is already set up correctly as we use the same file name, main.py. If we place a breakpoint on line 4, PyCharm will allow us to look at the data frame after reading in the CSV. We need a print statement so that we can pause the code after executing line 4. We can now look at the variable in our variables box and see that the data has been correctly loaded into a data frame. Now we can stop our debugging session and start writing the rest of the code. Now that we've loaded our data, we want to iterate over each row of the data frame in this loop. Each row represents a unique character from the Marvel Universe. For each new character, we'll read 2 columns, the year they were created and their gender and sexual minorities column, which we'll call GSM. Our 2 dictionaries use years as keys and the number of new characters as items. For each character, we first check that there is information for the year they were created, then we'll increment the number of new characters for the year they were created and the number of new LGBTQ characters if their GSM column isn't empty. If the year isn't in the dictionary yet, we set it to 1. Otherwise, we can just increment the existing total. We do this for both dictionaries. By passing our dictionaries to the sorted function, we'll receive a list containing pairs of numbers. Each pair is a year followed by the number of new characters that year. The list is sorted in order of ascending year. To do our actual plotting, we'll use a library called matplotlib that allows you to generate MATLAB-style plots in Python. When we call the zip function, it will return a list of years into X and a list of numbers of new characters into Y. It will preserve the order of the list, which is in order of ascending year. The remaining code formats the plot to have the year on the X-axis and the number of all new characters on the left Y-axis and the number of new LGBTQ characters on the right Y-axis. After installing the last missing library, we can now run our code to see the generated plot. You can click on the save icon if you'd like to save the image to your computer. You can also use the matplotlib savefig function to save the plot in the code. Hopefully that gives you an idea of how to get started with sorting and plotting data in Python. There's a lot of documentation available online, so if there's something different that you want to try, chances are you'll find something by Googling it. Thanks for watching.